Now, in relationship to criticism, because we have difficulty accepting criticism, there are two possibilities when someone criticizes us. One possibility is that he's right, to some degree. That he's saying something which is true, that we could improve something, or that we are making a mistake. And the second possibility, that he's not right, that it's his own subjective perception, which has nothing to do with our reality. In the first case, when he's right, we have everything to gain by listening. We have nothing to lose but our ego itself. We have everything to gain by listening and hearing what he has to say. We may be able to see something in ourselves which we ourselves find difficult to see because we're not as objective towards ourselves as others can be. So there's no danger. The danger, we feel the danger because we're identified with our personality, and we feel that we're not worthy of love if we are not perfect. Once we can employ that thought, I'm not perfect, but I deserve love. Once I can realize that I do deserve to be loved, even though I'm not perfect, even though I make mistakes, then everything is all right. Or once I realize I am not the personality, but I am the witness, the soul who is observing the personality, then it's like someone coming up and saying, you know, your car has a scratch. I don't stay for hours trying to convince him that the car doesn't have a scratch. I look at the scratch and then I see what I'm going to do about it. But when he says your personality has a scratch, then we get all upset. And we try to explain to him for hours that our personality doesn't have a scratch, because we're identified with it. So once we can disidentify, to detach ourselves from the personality and realize this personality is an organ, an instrument in the process of evolution. I am not that. I am an immortal consciousness, and this is a temporary vehicle through which I'm expressing myself, just as a car is. And if he says there's a scratch, there's no danger about it. It doesn't mean I'm not worthy of being loved. It's not the end of the world if I've made a mistake, or if I have some negativity within me. And to look at that. So in the first case, there's no need to feel danger. That someone may see that there is something which is not functioning harmoniously in our personality. In the second case, in which it's his own subjective illusion and has nothing to do with our reality and who we are and what we are, again, there is no danger. It's his problem, it's his perception. We can try to help him to understand differently without having the attachment for him to understand differently. One of the tests on the spiritual path is to learn to live with the fact that there are people who don't love you. And to learn to live with the fact that there are people who may even hate you, who think very negative things about you, and to be able to live with that, and to accept that, and to be able to love them and feel positive feelings towards them, even though they may feel those or believe those things about you. That is, to be able to accept. Doesn't mean you don't try to change that reality, but when you cannot change it, that you can live with that and feel comfortable with it. It doesn't cause you to feel that you're not worthy because there are people that don't love you or feel negative things about you. So in the case of criticism, there is no real need to answer. We can just say thanks. Thanks for the criticism. I'll look at it. I'll get back to you after a few months. There's no need to say yes, no, you're right, you're wrong. I'll get back to you on that. I'll look at it. Thanks a lot. And look at it. Our immediate reaction is no. This is not true. Impossible. Or yes, you're right, I'm not worthy. There's no reason to make any. Let's hear it and let's put it on that shelf that we have in our mind, and let's look at it. We have nothing to lose. Our self-worth and our safety are not dependent on that. It is a fact that we make a lot of mistakes. It is a fact that we are not perfect. once we accept that I am not perfect, announce it to everyone. Announce it. You know, a lot of people receive criticism because they believe they have to be perfect, and they just receive it from life in order to get free from that attachment. So if you just go around announcing to everyone that you're not perfect, they'll have a much lesser need to criticize you. People just love to find mistakes in the person who plays the perfect. They want to find what mistakes can we find in this person. Now, another thing which will be another thing we need to learn through the contact with a negative person is spiritual discrimination, and that is to get free from the two-sided coin, which is he's responsible for my reality, I'm responsible for his reality. So it's very important to get free from when he's blaming us, to get into the thought form that I am to blame. He's not happy. He is responsible for his reality. That doesn't mean I don't listen to what he's saying and see that maybe I'm doing something which I would not like him to do to me, and to change that. Or in the other case, when he is not happy and he's feeling depression and not accusing us, but again we feel that we are responsible for his reality. And so the need to learn mutual respect, that is, respect for ourselves and respect for him simultaneously. There are some people who respect themselves and don't respect the other, others who respect the other but don't respect themselves. And there's a word here which I think expresses that, and that is to be assertive in our relationships. Rather than being aggressive, or rather than giving in continuously and sacrificing what we believe and what we need, to be very clear, to be strong and loving and assertive simultaneously. That is, to respond to that person in a loving and respectful way, but in an assertive way with respect to our needs and our desires also in that relationship. That is, for there to be equality. And for there to be equality, it means that I have to also respect myself in that relationship, but that I also have to respect the other. So that I always want to communicate with the other in a way which does not demean him, which does not lower his self-image, but at the same time does not cause me to demean myself or to put myself on a lower scale in relationship to him. Two adults who are communicating in an adult way with equality. Another lesson in our relationship with negative persons, as if we're not negative persons ourselves, is to learn to overcome the fear of conflict. For many people, confrontation means conflict. These are two different things. To confront someone does not mean to conflict with him. To approach someone with your needs, most people are programmed to believe that if I approach this person with my needs, there will be conflict. If I approach this person with my different opinion, with my different beliefs, with my different needs, there will be conflict. We have identified, we have put them together, that confrontation leads to conflict. That is our experience. That is the prototype that we have seen as young children, in our parents and with teachers, with various persons. But it can be different. There is another way. We can approach persons, and they can even, when we approach them, begin to conflict or begin to become aggressive. But if we are in our center, and if we are clear-minded, and we have self-acceptance and a positive image of ourselves, and enough love for him, and we know effective communication techniques, then however he may react, we can always keep our center and bring this confrontation back into its center, in which we're trying to find a solution in which we are both satisfied in this relationship. I want you to be satisfied, but I also want to be satisfied myself. I don't want you to be unhappy, but I also don't want to be unhappy myself. And that means being assertive, clear with this person, because when we allow someone to harm us, we do as much harm to him as he does to us. You have to think about that. When we allow someone to function in a way which is opposite to his conscience and to his own spiritual self, with relationship to us, we are harming him as much as we may think he is harming us. We are not helping him. Some people call this love. This is not love. Or this may be love for the personality. Now, there definitely needs to be a level of understanding for the inability of the other person to function in harmony with his conscience or with his highest spiritual beliefs. But it doesn't mean that we need to let it go like that. We can confront this and we can explain to this person what it is that we believe is an injustice which is going on here, or what our needs are, without accusing him, without blaming him, without demeaning him, but being very clear as to what we need from him in this relationship. So in confronting negative persons, or in confronting any situation, there needs to be a combination of love and respect for the other person, but simultaneously a clarity and a stance of strength and assertiveness concerning what our needs also, what are also our needs. Otherwise, we are creating this victim situation. You must realize that the victim creates the aggressor. There are two roles, and as long as I'm playing the victim, I will give the clues to the aggressor to play his role. And when I stop playing the victim, and when I stop having the need to play the role of the victim, then I'm not giving those clues anymore, and he stops playing. So both of us have to be into those roles. Once we get clear, all of this stops. Another lesson could be to employ the various techniques which we have all learned in order to come into our center when we lose our center, our peace, when in contact with negative persons, or with their negativity. So there's the daily employment of exercises, breathing, meditation, prayer, relaxation techniques, in order to keep a high level of energy. Something which we'll discuss again in a little while. So what is the best way that we can deal with the negativity of the persons around us? To grow spiritually. And their negativity exists in order for there to be a stimulus for us to grow spiritually. Because through that testing, we really see how much we are secure within ourselves, how much we can love without conditions, how much we are free from the need for affirmation or security from other persons. This is the test, and this is the method of evolution at this point. So the best thing that we can do for them and for us is to grow spiritually.